We are now live. Good evening and welcome to the 90 Degree Show, Volume 11, 2018. I'm your host, Joe Beard. Happy to be of service for you. You guys go ahead and share around the world that we own, as long as, propping up yourself and have a good time. We welcome back Ernest tonight on our Thanksgiving holiday weekend. So, shout out to
Yes.
everybody, and we're thankful for everything. And we welcome back Rashad this week. We'll be talking about the Soul Bowl between the Sonic Boom of the South and Alcorn State University. And we'll also be talking about the Great Florida Classic with the Marching 100 of Florida A&M and the pride of Bethune Cookman University, the Marching Wildcats. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and start it off for the show. We hope you enjoy yourself tonight. So let's go.
Welcome to the 90 Degree Show, the sports center for college marching bands, where we recap the ultimate battles from this weekend. And now, here's our host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 90 Degree Show. I'm your host, Joe Beard. Oh, I'm sitting off to the corner here. All right, your host, Joe Beard. Happy to be of service for you tonight. We appreciate all those listening live or listening on our website or Facebook, our blog, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you are, or Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you are on the interwebs. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, we really appreciate a donation to the network, if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button. Help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. Tonight's show is brought to you by Block Band Music and Publishing, SAY Marketing and Promotions, blockusup.com, Kevin Peete of Remax Patriots, and SmokeeOs Barbecue. We hope you enjoy the show. All right, so let's say hello and welcome to our panelists. Again, always doing a good job. Let me get this just a little applause. Man, I wish I could hear the applause.
No, I want to get some applause.
Give a shout out to Ernest, because he's done a good job filling in for us this year. And I know that Bridget and I'm sure everybody's busy, especially on Monday nights. But yeah, I really appreciate you helping us out, Ernest, this year. So how you doing, man? And just real quick, could you tell all of us if you have any plans this week and something that you are thankful for, sir?
Oh man, okay. First of all, thanks for having me on, man. I enjoy being with you guys. It's always fun. Let's see. I'm frying a turkey on Thursday, so I usually do that. It's like our little family tradition for me to do it. So I do that every year. One thing that I'm thankful for my wife and children.
All right, that's a good one. I'm glad you said that, brother. Now I got a good. I was gonna say I wasn't thinking about that, but of course I was. Of course I love my family and stuff. Rashad, hello, the owner and founder. Oh, and of course Ernest, owner and founder, editor, blockusup.com band blog. Check out that last post; it's a really good read. And our owner and founder of Block Band Music and Publishing, Rashad Waters. How you doing in this podcast, sir? And what any plans that you have, and what you are thankful for, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Also, Regal, don't forget.
The Regal, my bad. I'm messing up.
Yes, sir, doing fantastic, man. We will be in town this time. We have been going to Virginia with some of my other relatives the last couple of years, but this time we're going to stay in Durham, North Carolina. So I'll be eating with my immediate family, my parents, and my godmother, and maybe it's a couple other people. As far as things I'm thankful for, I am also thankful for my wife and kids. So if you guys happen to see them out there, let them know that I'm looking for them. That she should be showing up at any time. But this has been a good year, man. I'm thankful for finances. Thankful for being able to make it, and I'm thankful for just rejuvenation for the end of this year and the next year.
Well, that's outstanding. As move my camera over here. All right. Dang. All right, that's a little bit better. Yeah. Oh man, I'm about to drop. Yeah, don't drop it now, cause I ain't have nobody. All right, that's better. All right, that's cool. All right. So, Rashad, that's actually really good. Me, myself, I'm thankful for the two of you, and I'm thankful for the Marching Podcast that we got going on. And I guess I'm thankful for my wife and kids, too. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? I'm really thankful to just really continue what we doing for the craft. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have, let's say, like thousands of people watching every week. But
not yet.
Right, not yet. But I do appreciate and I like the folks that are listening and that are in the chat room. So shout out to the chat room.
Round of applause.
Yeah, we got, because we're thankful for the chat room.
and don't forget about Bridget now. You got to be thankful for her now.
Oh yeah. I was getting her. And shout out to Bridget. I think she's on the way down to Alabama, she said. Because, you know, that's where she's from. But, yeah, shout out to Bridget. And, of course, we want to always say shout out to Rosa Parks. Because without Rosa Parks and her sitting on the bus, it wouldn't be for her. And we fast forward later in history to a.k.a. Christy Walker, like the next Rosa Parks, who put together the fifth quarter and started everything. So shout out to Christy. I know I don't really think she like when I say that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, but I mean, she's humble about it. So that's a good thing. So yeah, shout out to all you, and shout out to all the band heads. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to everybody. But yeah, everybody be safe out there and have a good week. We're going up to Santa Maria, which is above Santa Barbara, to be with my in-laws. So I'll see my wife's father's side of the family. So we usually go up there every year, and it's nice up there. And it's a decent little car drive up there too. You know, like along the water and the bluffs and the coast and stuff. It's nice. So yeah, we'll be busy. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. So yeah, shout out to everybody again. Everybody, shout out to the world. We'll go ahead and get our first commercial break out the way. What y'all feeling when we talk about? When we talk about Florida A&M, we can talk about Florida A&M and the Florida Classic first. Let's move east to west. And the Battle of the Bands was that Friday, and then the halftime, and then of course the Soul Bowl, the old school Capital City Classic, which is what it was when I was marching at Jackson State. It was always in Jackson every year at Memorial Stadium, and we would switch with Alcorn home and away. And it was always a good thing. And then, of course, I don't know if they're still doing it like that, but that's when all of the freshmen in the Jackson State band become a part of the band. I'm not sure if they're still doing it. I think so. But, yeah, everybody was going crazy at the end of the Alcorn game. Like, as soon as it hits 00, you was like, you went from Trump stank to Trump funk. You know what I'm saying? So, man, it was dope. Those are some great times. So, and then Alcorn is good this year. We talked about Alcorn a little bit, them being good. So I'm interested to see what y'all thought about the show. So let's go ahead and get the commercials out the way. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show. This is Volume 11. It's the Soul Bowl, and it's the Florida Classic. So go ahead and mute your microphone or mute your phones, and we appreciate you listening.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
The source for fair and factual information on your favorite college bands, blockusup.com. Well-written articles, in-depth band performance analysis, helpful resources for band directors, fun band-related topics, and exclusive interviews with some of today's brightest and most talented leaders of college marching bands. Visit us at blockusup.com, the meeting place for band fans and band directors.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, you guys can unmute your microphones. We are back from the commercial break. Shout out to, again, Block Band Music and Block Us Up for their continued support. Now, let's go ahead and get right into it. Looked in the chat room. Killa Kev and Lamik's videos is up in there. Let me go ahead and give y'all a shout out. Appreciate y'all being in the chat room. Two people who, two organizations, if you will, responsible for our discussion tonight. And of course, we love the HBCU videographers because without you, the folks in California wouldn't know what's going on. And then, of course, like we said, once we get our pot of money, it's going to go to y'all first. Because y'all going to be the correspondents. You know what I'm saying? We pay y'all about $75,000, $80,000 a year to start. And then, boom, y'all hit it up. And then y'all hit us back. And then, you know, we'll be able to try to, like, travel and see y'all. And then have a party twice a year. That's the plan. That was
right. It'll go to them second, right? Because me and Ernest got to get that 401k plan.
That's right. My bad.
Hey,
I got
you know what I'm saying?
I got too far ahead of myself. But yeah, shout out to the HBCU videographers and all that they do. All right, so let's go ahead and kick it off. And Ernest, I'll let you go first. What did you think about the Florida Classic Battle of the Bands that happened on Friday night?
Man, I was real impressed with the bands, but really, to me, it just seemed like the typical classic battle of the bands. You know, there's only a certain number of tunes that each band have in their chest, so to speak. You're gonna hear those, you know. Every now and then, you might hear something new, but really, I think both bands kind of hold back on that event and hold back till they get into the game on that Saturday. But I was impressed with Cookman's sound. I mean, nobody plays a ballad like Cookman, man. I mean, not even the current FAMU band, you know. And just hearing those guys play is just very impressive. The phrasing and the dynamics they use when they approach a ballad is just unmatched at this point on an HBCU level. But I did have a lot of good things to say about the 100 as well on Saturday. But I would have to say I thought Cookman got the edge at the Battle of the Band.
Yeah, one thing that always jumps out to me, I think I say this every year, but that's like the greatest Battle of the Bands venue ever. You know what I'm saying? I love that thing. And they got the 5 mark hash marks too. Like they got, 5, then they got the half marks. So I really like that. And I appreciate that they actually go out there and perform a show. You know what I'm saying? And they take their time to do the show. The best part about FAM show is when you look at the time stamp on the video, you see FAM's show is long or their video is longer, but that's just them marching out. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes like 12 minutes for them to march out and then the little tuba joint. You know what I'm saying? That's like my favorite part. I think Ernest, you said that in your interview since you played tuba, man. Everybody see like everybody and their mama want they want to be part of that tuba joint. Uh,
All about the tuba shouting.
Oh, there goes Shy. Okay, yeah, I thought we lost you for a second, man. But yeah, that's what's up, man. So Rashad, what did you think about the Battle of the Bands there on Friday night?
Okay, let's get into it. Real quick, I just want to point out, I think it's really interesting that Battle of the Bands right now means anything. Like, Battle of the Bands can mean band competition. Battle of the Bands can mean two bands being in the end zones or different sides of the inside, playing back and forth at each other. There could be them on the court playing back and forth at each other, but facing the crowd. And it can also mean like this. One band does a performance, and then the other band does a performance. So it's really interesting to see what that term means. But let's go ahead and get started with FAMU. I'm gonna break it down for you real quick. So they started out surrounding the field. They did a dance. They were sitting down doing the dance. I kind of thought that was ineffective because you couldn't see them. Like they went into shut up, shut up, and I feel like they should have started with that. And then got on the ground and started doing their thing because you would have been able to see them better. They went from there into Lucid Dreams, which is a cool song. I had never heard that song before. I heard a lot of bands playing it, but I didn't know what it was. It's like, okay, it's a pretty chill song.
Me either. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, one of my buddies there. But man, that crescendo at the beginning was very nice. Like it was huge crescendo. The tempo was off though, and the trumpets at the beginning though that took away. And they look bad on the field. They just look bad. They're just everywhere on the field. So they need to work on that. But overall, they sounded good. It was an interesting inning. It just stopped. Then they played Loyalty, I believe, and then they went into something else. And overall, they sound pretty good. Then they transitioned to another formation that looked a whole lot better on the field. And they said, hey, we're going to play our march. So they went through Rolling Thunder. It was interesting. What sounded good. We used to play Rolling Thunder quite a bit at Hampton. I thought it was interesting that during the middle they take out the low brass. They take out the whole brass section and let the woodwinds play, which is interesting. We didn't do it that way. They sounded good. A couple spots with the trombones are a little tricky. You can't play around with Rolling Thunder, but the Aretha Franklin tribute. Why is the band holding back, man? I don't understand. We've heard when they were playing Lucid Dreams, you hear this big sound, and then later in the show they're playing with this big sound, but it's like, we don't like this, so we're just gonna play it any old way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. Or maybe it's young people, and they're like, oh, these old classic songs, like you can't put stank on them because they're old and classic songs, but they don't understand that when those songs were out, they had stank. Right. You think RSBACT is all about, man? Give me some respect on my stank, And the fact that they were holding back, it got boring to me. Like, I really need them to push that a little bit so we can hear a little bit of that edge on the sound. Is no one allowed to move during that? Like, nobody in the whole band was moving. Like, the flags weren't moving, the cymbals weren't, nobody's moving. Like, somebody moved, because that was boring. The Love that they played with Keisha Cole was great work from the tubas there. But as I'll say later, definitely no comparison between them and Bethune-Cookman as far as how well they played. They went into the dancer team. Great energy, man. FAMU is some dancers, man. They might be the most in shape band. They were dancing their behinds off, man. I had to give them props. And then after they finished dancing, then they were marching hard, and you can see the trombones coming across the field during good times, and they are killing it, man. They seem like they're having so much fun. Like, if I was watching band for the first time, watching that dancer team, I would want to be a part of a band like that. But, I don't know. I'm not so much of a fan of this whole thing that FAMU does. Like, they check all the boxes. They do their senior day, and and we do this, we're going to do that. They don't do a show like Bethune does. They just put together all that. They do a presentation. They do a PowerPoint presentation. So let's get into Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman started with Re-Ready. That sounded great playing soft, but as soon as it got loud, the tubas were like, y'all sound bad. And I'm sure that Mr. Wells has probably taken some scholarships. And you can see they were scared to get those scholarships taken, man, because once they formed on the field, you saw they were too tight, and they're like, oh.
Yeah, they're trying to move over.
Yeah.
I ain't getting my money taken. They were serious about that thing. But don't do that when the band is not moving. Wait till the band is moving to fix your spot.
Exactly.
They played I'll Die For You by Prince. Great sound on that. I like this better than what they did during the halftime show. Everything they did for the Battle of the Bands by Bethune, I like better than their halftime show.
I agree with that.
They play another slow jam, and it sounded so good that it pretty much sounded like it could be on the radio. Like a lot of times when bands play, they're just not as in tune as the stuff that you hear on the radio. Like I could listen to that on the radio. I mean, the tubas were great, the baritones were beautiful, and the high range and the low range trumpet sounded great. Trombones are out of tune a little bit when they came in with that part. Nice modulation though, and then they did a backwards modulation at the end where he took it back down a step. Oh man, or at least it felt like that. The dance routine, they started with the song "All Right" by Kendrick Lamar. That was cool. And then they did that one trail jump, and they had some really great footwork when they were doing that. Let me see here. So I thought they did a good show. I don't know who was better, honestly. It was so hard to tell because FAMU did like this whole 25-minute presentation, and Bethune-Cookman just did an 8-minute show, and they both had high points and low points. FAMU's dance was much better, but Bethune-Cookman sounded better overall. Maybe Bethune, but it's a toss-up, really. I did watch the percussion battle, if you want me to talk about that, too.
Yeah, I didn't check out the percussion battle. I checked out, of course, the Battle of the Bands. For as far as fam goes, the best part for me was the tuba part, and the tuba gets to do their thing at the end. It's like my favorite ever, and I really liked like how he was doing, and it's funny because like the last three got to kind of like show their thing a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then he ended it where, of course, the two slid over, and then he jumped over two of them to end. So I've always appreciated that. I went to Fan Band Camp in '95, and I remember I used to hit the little corner and do a whole bunch of little stuff. You know what I'm saying? It would get me crazy, you know. So I really appreciate that when I see that. As far as I was similar to you, Rashad. Like as far as like the competition as far as who was better, because it seemed like FAM, like when they introduced their graduating seniors, it was a little bit more like, you know, senior night a little bit, whereas like Bethune did like a pregame show or something, you know what I mean? But I have to say that because it was so slight, I have to implement some of the marching podcasts.
I knew you was gonna go there. I knew you was gonna go there.
You know what I'm saying? I have to say that when FAM played Rolling Thunder, that was it. That was it. Hold on a minute. But it sounded good, man. I mean, I love me some Rolling Thunder. And it sounded good, and I haven't heard it in a while because it's just getting farther and farther away from people gonna battle or show their range with some marches. So I wanted them to do like 4 or 5, typical FAM. You know what I'm saying? Right. But the fact that they played that one, I was like, oh, they already won. You know what I'm saying? Then when it sounded good, like it sounded good too, and they got to the end, I was like, yeah, I got to give it to FAM. Only thing, I don't know, I like that Keisha Cole song because I like to sing along with it, but I wish that the little part where she you know, the little run. I wish that maybe the trombones could have done it, maybe smooth, but like I felt it was choppy. It was
those trumpets. They get really thin on that part too.
Yeah, It was. I didn't like how the arrangement was for that part.
Well, you know, it's hard for a band to play that part because it's hard to purposely make your band play out of tune.
Yeah. But that's my favorite part. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's my favorite part. I wish it was just better. They could have done it better. Both bands had really good energy. Even like for the halftime shows, you know, we'll talk about both bands like showed up. And it reminded me, Ernest was just talking last week how South Carolina State or Fam, they dance and play. So Bethune and Fam
Right.
dance and play, and they
Right.
danced well and played. Like they was
Mhm.
full of energy. You didn't hear no difference in sound. I mean, they was
Right.
good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So shout out to them. I mean, they're both two good bands, but just deep down, Fam just ain't got that super bass yet. Like that sound where it's like Fam rolls up and just like just, it ain't there. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Bethune has it, but I think Fam is still getting there. So yeah, but even still, when they threw out that Rolling Thunder, man, I had to give it to Fam. You know what I'm saying? But it was slight. I mean, even though like Bethune sounds better than them and everything, I just like they play Rolling Thunder. All right, y'all. So we can get into the halftime. Rashad, I
Did
didn't
you want
let
me
you.
to do? I'm
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I didn't see the drum battle. What was your take on the drum battle, Rashad?
Okay, so it started out with Fam. Well, that's the first one. Yeah, it started with Fam, and it was interesting what they did. Fam, you had a lot of really interesting ideas. Like they started out with three snares in the front, and they were playing something, and then two more joined them to make five, and then it was seven, and then one person came out to make eight. That was weird. That was a cool idea. When it was three and five of them, it was clean. But once they brought out seven, it's like, all right,
Uh-oh.
guys, let's work on this. um, and then the bass drum was like in the back, like they weren't even across the back, so it looked bad. Like the bass drum should have been even across the drum line, which would have made the whole thing look better. But it looked raggedy with them kind of off to one side, and they weren't staggered evenly. I think it's really interesting that I think FAMU is the only band that does this. That they actually use two different sizes of tenor drums. Did y'all notice that?
Yeah. Yeah. This,
I
and
didn't
the
notice that.
the bass drum with the Scotch basses.
So, and
Hmm.
they were, I knew that, but I figured they just played together all the time. But actually, a lot of times those two
Yeah, they play
parts are
different
not together.
parts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're completely different parts, which is cool.
Mhm.
The snares had a lot of good ideas, but they just were not clean. And they did this real cool thing where the bass drums in the middle throwing the drums around. That looked really really cool. So visually they look great. I'm wondering why the heck they have two cymbals. Who got kicked out the band? I know that the FAMU has got to have more than two cymbals, bro. I know this, yo. Do I get the
Right.
gunshot?
Somebody got
I
left at the
gave
hotel. That's what happened.
Yeah, I
You know.
gave it a drop, but yeah, we always happy to bring Free the Gats into the show. Free the Gats, Free the Gats.
Um, and then Bethune Cookman came out. I really don't have a whole lot to say about them, because they didn't move. Like
Mhm.
Bethune Cookman's whole show was so representative of everything that their band does. Like it's clean, it is super clean, and it is very basic. Like they played so well. Like I mean, you can watch them. If you would have probably paused the tape, you would see those hands at exactly the same place. They sounded so good in every single section, but they didn't move. They just stayed right there in place. So that was so representative. It's a good foreshadow of what they're going to do on Saturday. They did the same
Yep.
thing. It was so precise, but from an entertainment standpoint, it just wasn't as much. But still, I definitely would give it to Bethune, even though they weren't as exciting to look at as FAMU. The difference in their playing was so much better than FAMU's that I would have to give it to Bethune.
Yeah, and that's the difference for me. I mean, they just sound so much better, than
Mhm.
Fam. But I'm pulling for Fam. I'm pulling for when Fam comes back, cause I mean they sound good, but it's just like that middle, like that low brasses. And plus, I like a more of a darker sound. And I know just
Mhm.
Fam used to sound thunderous. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
think that's a word I think about
Yep.
when I think about Fam. But they're still bright. They're still kind of like joyous kind of sound, real bright sounding.
We're used to hearing fam with like 65 saxophones and
Yeah, it's true.
45 trombones, and that
Mhm.
fam from the early 90s. And, when you heard that band, man, you just heard sound. You heard a wall of sound that never ended. When they play a ballad, you can never tell when the phrases ended. I mean, it was
Mhm.
just perfect, beautiful. But yeah, they haven't obtained that level of playing yet. The 100 is still locked in the Florida, the Citrus Bowl. They're almost out. They got 1 foot out, but they still locked up, man. I still haven't heard that. I used to like when the piccolos used to sit right on top of those trumpets, and the sound used to kind of melt together where you didn't hear their trumpets sounding so edgy because the piccolos would smooth it out. You know what I mean? And those saxophones and those French horns would be that middle voice. You always heard that counter line so melodic. I don't hear that fam right now.
Yeah. Maybe they're. I hadn't thought about the saxophones, but that makes a difference because they would. I mean, they would literally march almost 100 of them. And the saxophones would make a huge difference in that sound. Now, I think they may be a little shallow on the number of baritones they've marched in the past. I'm not sure, but I think that's kind of where that depth in the sound is because they've got plenty of trombones. They're solid there, but I think that depth that you guys are talking about is in that baritones. They may not have the numbers that they had before.
I want to give another shout out. I looked at somebody in the chat room, Smash Time Productions. Shout out to them. I give you guys pretty much all the guys.
He was born in '92.
Yeah, I'm about to say he said he's born in '92. See, there it is. See, like when people say stuff like that, I be like, damn, '92. I was a freshman in high school, yo. That was like when Menace and Boys in the Hood was coming out. I was like '93. It was almost that time. That was crucial in our development, our young people of the '90s. But this brother said he was born in that joint. You know what I'm saying? He was born after Nintendo, which is, that's still, I'm still working on that. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. Like I said, I guess it was slight, but I'm just happy that the two bands are able to keep this venue and we able to see them every year. And it's in Orlando. So I think that during that weekend, there was a game. I think UCF was playing or something like that, and they showed a snippet of the Battle of the Bands. They said, "Oh, here was the Battle of the Bands."
Oh, wow!
Yeah, so I saw that on ESPN. So that was cool to see that. But yeah, man, I don't know. I always like seeing the two because they're two massive bands and they're similar and they sound good. But I guess really it gets into the halftime show as far as the differences of what we see. So Ernest, what did you think about the halftime show, man, between and the Florida Classic?
Well, Cookman was up first, and immediately issues started to present themselves. From the drum major intro on down, one of the DMs fell down in the drum major intro. He got up. He kind of recovered real fast.
Okay. Yeah, Bridget has that. She's got a little meme of that on her Facebook page, Rashad.
Yeah, check it out. So he, when they do the back bend and then they get back up, he fell down. Yeah. So I was like, oh wow. And their DMs are usually so tight. So that kind of took been kicked out band. You know what I mean? At the Florida Classic, but yeah, so that took away from that introduction a little, took a little sting out of it, and it kind of just leveled off after that. The marching and the sound, of course, was on point, but it wasn't this time. It wasn't like a Florida Classic level show. I don't know what's missing. Maybe it's because Horatio is not on the mic anymore, and he kind of used to elevate the show himself, to that classic level. This is what his commentary used to elevate the show. Trash talking he would do, but it was just a typical drill. It was clean. It was the sound was strong. I really like the arrangement of "Living My Best Life," the medley with "I'm Curious." That was strong. 14K looked great in their little white outfit. And the dances, of course, was strong. But I hate Cookman's sound on their dance feature. I never like it because they always rush the tempo, and and the parts are so jumbled up together. And before you know it, they ended it. And as an audience member, you don't catch it. Like it takes you a few seconds to realize that it's ended. And even me being a musician, I don't even catch it, you know. So I know Joe Sixpack didn't catch it, but so I never liked the way that they do the dance features. Now I like how the girls look when they do it. They're powerful. They have a real strong presence when they do their routines. But sound wise, to me, that's when the Bethune's at their worst, is at the dance feature, and that's kind of tragic that they play so well. But they played the hell out of the ballad. That was that a young guy in HER her.
Yeah, the best part.
Yeah, the best part. Oh, I love that tune, man. And they played it. And you know what's so interesting, man, is that's FAMU's bread and butter. You know, the concert selection, the ballad, because they don't have the girls and they don't have all the other stuff that these other bands have. They don't have the flag girls and the dance girls and the majorettes. So that ballad is what separated FAM from all these bands. And now Cookman has kind of stepped on them toes, you know, because because they play better than FAM to me. They execute better on the ballad now. Now, of course, you know, you can never count Sarge out because he's the best arranger, I think, on the planet when it comes to this HBCU band thing. But as far as executing, Cookman, man, they can play anything. They can make anything sound good. You know, it can be a basic arrangement and they will make it sound good. So this is their approach, and so that was really impressive. The ballad, the dance routine, the crowd was really kind of quiet during the dance routine for the most part until the announcer got into it a little bit. And I guess his inner Horatio came out. He started saying, he said something about this is what FAMU tried to do when they saw us on Netflix, you know. That woke the crowd up. And at that point, the crowd stayed with them at that point. You know, then they went into the big BCU formation and they did the breakdown, the dancing, and the crowd was with them. You know, they had it at that point. So they finished strong. But for the most of their dance routine, man, it was like quiet. Like, you know, they were dancing, of course, because they're Cookman, and they were getting low because, you know, they're going to execute. They're going to do everything right. But it was kind of lifeless until, you know, the announcer kind of got us into that show. But I was real impressed with, of course, their execution throughout the show. They were consistent. The only thing that I saw that wasn't up to par was that drum major that fell at the beginning of the show. You know, everything else, man, you'd be pressed to find a mistake in Cookman's show. You know, they're that clean, but you know, it gets quote unquote boring sometimes. You know, because of that. You know, it's almost like it's lifeless, so to speak. But they ended strong. They ended well with some excitement, and I was impressed with it. The 100, on the other hand, they came on. They did. You know, they were about, I guess. And Joe Bullard, he mentioned this on the in his script. He was like, with a new concept or something new. He said. But they came on, they didn't do 20th Century. They played a new type of fanfare, or they played an intro to something that was different. I couldn't figure out what it was, but it was different. And that was...
Just say it was bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, it was different. But... You know, they did it, and then I like the way they came out, the new formation, though. They came from all corners and all different directions. They did that before, but the formation they got into this time looked a whole lot better, and their drill was good. They actually, you know, didn't look as sloppy as usual. You know, a lot of times FAM can, when they try to make a shape that's not a picture, it can look sloppy. You know, they're good at the picture drills, but when it's something that's not a picture, it's like, oh man, like especially with circles. You know, you don't want to see Bam make a circle. But you know, they had this drill that was real unique, and they did a good job of it this time. I like the Queen of Soul formation they did, where they wrote out soul in cursive and then did a crown on the top of it. That was unique. You know, that's kind of a nod to the old fan that we know. You know, those creative things that fam would do in the drill that nobody would even think of. You know, that's been kind of missing the last few years. That kind of showed his head a little bit in this show. And if you go around the internet, a lot of people have been giving fam the nod on this halftime performance because of those little glimpses of the old 100. You know, that people were kind of missing, I think, these past couple of years. But I didn't get the truck formation they did. They made a truck formation and played that on Nicki Minaj. No, not Nicki Minaj, but the Cardi B tune.
Yeah, I was gonna comment on that. They from what I understood it to be is that they were we were taking a trip down memory lane.
Oh,
and then,
okay.
like those other songs that came afterwards were older songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay, I didn't get that part of the show.
Yes.
I was like, okay, the truck, Cardi B, I'm not getting it. You know.
There you go. See, fam. You see, fam. See, we ain't now. Not everybody got that, brother. You work on that part, fam. You know what I'm saying?
No, but that's probably because I didn't hear the announcer well enough. You know, he probably said something alluding to what you just said. I didn't hear it good enough, but.
Yeah, but it was whack though. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. I mean, I'm just saying. I was like, what is that? Oh, we taking a trip down memory lane. Why didn't you use
Right.
What is that? Oh, a bicycle. What made you look like a what was that? And then was it a station wagon? Was it a pickup truck?
It was a pickup truck.
Boo.
Now, when they played that End of the Road, that was a nod to our era. You know, that 92 era, that 92, 93 era where those bands were just like on another level, man, and killing. And
Smash Time was born.
Right. You know what I'm saying? The Smash Time came through. But I was impressed, of course, with that arrangement, man. I've seen that arrangement on band tapes for years. You know, heard it. I've seen Dr. Foster conduct that selection, man. And if you ever seen him conduct, where he doesn't conduct patterns, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing. He conducts phrases. So that's all I could see as I was listening to that, and it kind of took me back down memory lane, you know. Just hearing them play that tune, of course, it sounded the same, and it took me back. But the vocals, when the band were singing, that wasn't as impressive as it was in '92. I think they didn't seem as loud. They didn't sing it with as much spirit as the kids did back then. I guess mainly because these kids don't really feel End of the Road like that, you know.
Right.
It was a hit in '92.
Said they crank it. They want cranking on they singing.
Exactly. And you know what's so funny, man, is every time now a band sings, I think about Joe.
Hey.
I think when they lost.
Yeah. All I could think about is automatic L.
Hey man, you took some of the words out of my mouth. What I'm about to say. You already know.
But let me finish up, man. But they did they played some of course some hip hop tunes, and Mo Bamba was lit when they did that little running around the field part to Mo Bamba. That was lit. That got the crowd. Matter of fact, the audience was with their show for majority of that dance routine. Man, they hung in there with them. They got a lot of house, and when they did that arrow, oh my God, that just blew the roof off the place. You know,
the
that arrow.
and they point
Oh,
and they pointed
yes,
at
yes.
yeah.
That just took it to another level. That was that classic FAMU that you can never count them out. They always got some kind of surprise doing the dance routine, and that was it. I remember back in the day when they took out the towels and did the helicopter and left them on the field in the form of a helicopter. So they always have something like that, what they used to, in the dance routine, and seeing them performing on this level made me feel good for them because they did kind of nod to that old 100 that we've been missing. So I was real impressed. I thought Fam took halftime.
Well, that's what's up, Ernest, man. So I'm about to say, man, I'm glad you know me, brother, because you probably saved us some time. First of all, let me look. All right, all right, hold on. So Bethune. All right. Okay. So the spacing was off and then the drum major fell. Now sometimes that should constitute an L because you shouldn't be falling on the drum major part. But
right.
I watched shout out to you, Rashad. Shout out to Color Commentary. I watched the Netflix the marching orders. I finally got through it, so I felt a little bond.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Some of the students. You can't hear me, Rashad?
I lost you for a second. Say again.
I was saying I felt a bond with the students, so I didn't want to feel bad about. Yeah, Rashad. I wonder if Rashad going in and out, cause like your thing looking like you.
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Your screen looks frozen though. All right. Yeah, he'll probably I'm sure he'll come back.
Okay.
But I thought about Rashad because that was the Netflix we talked about and he saw it. So I felt like, man, all right, man, I enjoy seeing Bethune. So I saw the drum majors. I was like, all right, man, I like them. So man, I felt kind of bad. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't necessarily just totally cancel them out. All right. So then, I mean, like the concert piece, and you said it, Ernest, man. That I look forward to that with them, Fam, and South Carolina State. So like to me, that's like part of the show. I'm like, oh, what's the concert piece about to be? You know what I'm saying? And I felt it was good. And then they did their dance routine, and then the shoot dance came back. They got some house. So like you said, Ernest, they weren't getting any house, but then they did the shoot dance, and people got house. That's like the dance of the year. You know what I'm saying? So I saw that, and then I didn't really care for them running off the field. And I honestly don't like the BCU. It's just too like mad basic for me. I wish they could do something with it. Maybe put a line through it, or maybe like cross them or something.
Do it on both sides of the field. Something.
Yeah. It's just a huge BCU. I think they could do better than that. I guess that's what I'm saying. So then they got on the field. So I was like, that's a standard Bethune show. They executed well. I was like, all right, fam, you about to, what I'm saying? They about to blow it out the water. Fam back. You know what I'm saying? And then gave one of the worst performances I've ever seen on the field. Fam, I always root for Fam. You know what I'm saying? I like Fam. The problem is they always look bad on their drills. And just having 500 and 600 people on the field, just does not look right. And then there's not the squad transition, so it just looks like people just going somewhere, like ants. And I don't like that. I've never liked that. I appreciate when they want to make formations like a car or a pogo stick, whatever about to do. But sometimes the execution don't look right. So the excitement is like, oh man, Fam made a pogo stick on the field, and then you watch the video and he was like, is that what? Oh man, you know what I'm saying? You let me down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But let me tell you, just let me go ahead and start the boos now. I'm booing them already. But when you sing on the field, I mean, man, I was devastated. And then it wasn't only that they sang, but they played a song and then they sang it and they harmonized with it. I was like, you're on you guys know you're on the halftime field, right? Like you're on the field. Like you stop playing your horns and you singing, right? Like I just hated that. And then even in their drill, like it wasn't straight. Like that circle with like the four thing, it wasn't straight. It's like, fam, like, what the hell, fam? Like, come on, man.
Yep. Anytime they make a circle, you can expect one little corner or something to be kind of lopsided.
Right. Especially after y'all played Rolling Thunder the night before. I was like, come on, fam. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, they're still bright in their sound. So like I said, it's not the old school fam that I know. But I do give them props. They already lost when they sang. Like the second thing, it was over. But they did get rebound points. So you can like take an L, you can do something that lose at halftime, but then you can like get like a reclamation a little bit, depending on how you end the show or what else happens in the show. So I like the arrow because they made sure that the band was going to be, I think, where that arrow is. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not sure specifically if like they practice moving the arrow all around like where they would be, but they had, I don't know if they practiced that. You know what I'm saying? Or like, you know how like Southern used to do the halftime score.
Right.
I was like, how do they practice that? So like, what is it like 24-14? Like, let's go through all the different variables. Like, I don't know how they do it, But with that, I was like, okay, I give them some reclamation points for the arrow. But it's like just the execution, man. And then you don't sound good as Bethune. So Bethune easily got the W here. Like, I mean, it wasn't close. I mean, I cannot believe they were singing End of the Road, man. And just like you said, somebody said, one of you guys said that they weren't feeling it. It didn't have no emotions. I don't think you would either. If your band director told you to go out there and sing like that. You know what I'm saying? It was horrible. But shout out to Fam. I love Fam. But when you sing, you lose. Wow. I mean, I'm just upset. That music program, you're going to have to go out there.
And Fam got a concept, though, man. They're trying to follow the concept, They
got to let that one go, man. That was too much, man. It was just too much for me, man.
They did in the first Honda, they shut it down with that Order My Steps.
Oh no, they didn't. No. I remember people talk about that. No.
That's their thing, man.
Sing it, they can own that if they want to. How in the world y'all gonna have 500 people on the field and then sing? What is that about? Nah, man. That's something you do when you a smaller band and you trying to get people to like you and stuff and all that. But nah, fam. Stick to the marches. Go with the marches. And y'all straight. Right. All right, y'all. So I guess that's halftime. You guys, everybody talked about halftime. Oh, Rashad. I'm about to say Rashad.
You get so thrown off by the singing. I was on here.
That singing, boy.
I got so caught up with that, man. It took me to a different place. It really. I'm trying to come back. But yeah, my bad. The prunalysis.
All right.
What you think, man?
All right, let's run through this, man. So the drum major interest, it looked great. I didn't see the fall initially. I just watched it a few minutes ago. Man, y'all are blowing that out of proportion. He didn't fall. No, for real. He didn't fall. He just didn't get back up. Like he had to kick his legs out. But by the time they were up, they were up. You know what I mean? So he feel like, oh, he fall. I thought it was good overall. His recovery was good. They drilled to "I'm So Into You," and they did the same old to get to the chorus, and they did the rotation during the chorus. Nobody's listening to me. I don't know. And then that was basically it. Their drill was so simple, man. It was. Mm-hmm. It was. So your complaint, Joe, is that FAMU's got all these people on the field and they sing. That's my problem with Bethune. They get all these people. They're a bigger band, and they don't do anything on the field. They came out some rotations, and then they were done. The drill was like seconds, 45 seconds. That was terrible, man. Then they went into Living My Best Life. And what's the rush? They must have played that song for like 30, 35 seconds. I mean, the whole first half of their show was over in like a minute and 5 seconds. I don't know what the rush was. I don't know. They have to get off. Did they have to get home and eat or something? I don't know, man. They did Pleasure Principle. I wasn't really feeling their range that much. It was kind of hard to pick out the melody itself.
Yeah.
Well, I was so short. The best part, though, was the best part. That slow song, man, they sounded great, and they look so good on the field. Bethune is so precise. Again, those baritones. I think this is the best that I've heard Bethune's baritones. And I'm talking about this and the song the day before. Like, sometimes you can hear little intonation problems with the baritones. I haven't heard a problem, not one iota of an intonation problem at all. They sound great. And those long sustains in the trumpets, really nice. Like during the melody, they would just sustain. Like, I'm gonna talk to my arrangers about that. Like, that's a good technique. The song didn't reach the climax though. Like, it did some things. Yeah, it was interesting, but it never climaxed. You know what I mean? Which we all of us guys, so the dance routine. So they started with Love Like This before, right? You know, dun 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 dun, and then they went from there into So Hot in Here. Why? Why did you do that? Why either play, Love Like This before, or play Hot in Here? Play one or the other, but don't use the beginning and then transition to a completely different song. That's part of the reason why the dance routine didn't hit. And then when they played Hot in Here, it was good. And just when I was getting into it, it's like, okay, that's enough for that.
Right.
Then they did, the Christmas kick. The chicken kick.
Yeah.
Chicken kick.
You know that's shoot, right? Not shoe, right?
I was saying shoot.
Shoot like a gun?
Yeah, shoot.
Okay, first time I heard you say it, I thought you were saying it was a shoe dance.
That's what I thought you were saying too.
Man, you sound like some of these California people out here talking about. I don't, what I'm saying, I sound country or something. Yes, the shoot, the shoot dance. Yes.
Let me tell you, man. FAMU, and I'm gonna hate to come down on your band here, Joe, but Bethune-Cookman did exactly the same thing that Jackson State did against Southern. Like a couple weeks back. Like, this is the big show. This is the game. This is the Florida Classic. And just like Jackson did, they talked all this junk and they didn't back it up with a good show. Making BCU on the field is not impressive. This is the Florida Classic. This is your number one competitor. You made BCU and did some rotations? Come on, man. I mean, it reminds me, like, if you watch the Daredevil show on Netflix, like, you see the Kingpin, and he's got all these white suits, and they're almost all exactly the same. I feel like that's how they picked their show. They just walked in and said, okay, here, let's go ahead and choose this one, and this drill, and this dance. Like, it didn't take any thought. I was very disappointed. However, Bethune they are so precise. They are probably the best looking band and one of the best sounding bands. So I'm gonna come back to that. Yeah. Okay. So they executed well, but their level of difficulty in their drill and the excitement in the show was just really low. Let's get into Bethune. FAMU. First of all, me and maybe even Ernest, but definitely my company at FAMU are going to fight because he kept calling the block band. Now that the block band is finished, like, hold up, fam. Y'all got peace? Hold up, bro. You want sauce? Talking about some of the block band is finished. That intro that FAMU did was so bad. It was like they thought that was big, and I was like, what is that? Okay, what was that? That was terrible. And then they made a rotation on the field, and it didn't look good, particularly, again, following FAM.
No, it did not.
I don't think that FAM was as bad as you guys are saying that they were. I think that Bethune makes everybody else look bad. Because when I watched FAMU's show, I was looking at them, I was like, I don't think they're that. They look decent. But FAMU, when you follow FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, if you're not perfect, everything stands out. Like every little person that's a slight bit out of step. Every trumpet player is a little bit out of tune. You just look horrible because Bethune-Cookman has set the precedent. It's like Texas A&M is another band like that. If you've ever seen them, they're drilling back and forth. Like Prairie View followed them one time, and Prairie View looked horrible because Texas A&M is so perfect. So Bethune is like that. And they made the doggone car. Look, FAMU, I'm tired of cars, man. Y'all made so many cars and trucks. Every time, like, okay, we've seen that before. And they don't have enough people to make wheels rotate. So they just wheels on like boxes. They put them on little triangles. Like they had a booth. The soul thing was cool, but from the video I was watching, it was hard to see it. The end of the road, the entrance was great. I appreciate the fact that FAMU was kind of opening up that sound a little bit more than Bethune was. Bethune was kind of keeping it all contained. Versus, I like the fact that FAMU was a little edgier than Bethune. A trumpet player messed up in the middle. I like the fact that when they sang during the modulation, which is not hard. That's not easy to do. Right. It's all modulated, and they sang. They actually modulated into the like they sang the run. That's not easy to do when you've been playing in A flat the whole time, and then you modulate to A and you sing there. Like that was pretty good. I give them credit for that.
I think you're right.
That when
I was gonna say, Rashad, I think you're right. If it was the Florida A&M Glee Club. But the Marching 101 or the Marching 100, you know, I'm glad that you said that because they were probably happy that they did that musically. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were like, "That's tight that we did that," and yeah, but you're a band, so go ahead, Rashad. I'm trying to let it go, brother. I was just upset.
Oh boy. Let me see. I thought they would give us that chorus one more time with the horns again. Like I needed that one, like modulate one more time and give us those horns, but they didn't. They were done with the song. That dance routine, though, man, that was strong, boy. It started out strong. Flashlight sounded kind of bad in there, but overall the dance routine was really exciting. A lot of energy, and when they made that arrow, it was done. That was it. When they pointed, they made the arrow and said, "Over there is the block band." And they started dancing, and I was like, "Oh, you're done." That was great. It was the arrow, the back of the arrow wasn't as straight as I liked it, but would have liked it for it to bend. But overall, it was great. That's the type of stuff you're supposed to do at the Florida Classic.
That's right.
Bethune, stop holding back. Stop giving us the same old mess. Go after FAM, and because that's what FAM did. They didn't hold back. They gave you everything. And for me, FAMU definitely took that win. Again, Bethune-Cookman was the better sounding band, definitely. Mm-hmm. And Bethune-Cookman was the better marching band. But at the same token, you got to take that precision is only the first step. You got to take that precision and then apply it to something. You can't be precise and then do a basic drill. You can't be precise and play a beautiful slow song with no climax. You know what I mean? You can't be precise and do a great dance that doesn't have any energy or the songs don't make sense. So FAMU all the way on that.
That's actually a really good take on it. I have to say Bethune has done that the last couple years where like we talk about their show and they're like, and especially since FAM has been down. We off gate say, oh, they look better than them. They sound better than them. But it has been kind of a reoccurring thing where they don't like put what's like Phil Jackson's. They don't put the foot on your neck, or how like the Lakers and the Bulls, or how you know what I'm saying you got to take somebody out. They don't. They have not done that to FAM yet.
Or just like when FAMU had those years, even that year where they were gone, and then that year they came back and they were real small. Everyone assumed that Bethune-Cookman was just going to come up and just beast on the MEAC. You know, that they're just going to take over and they're just going to be the premier band. But it didn't happen because I think it's because they're in such a box. They box themselves in where they're not going to be able to top any of the bands that are doing these challenging things and pushing themselves to the limits. Because they're boxed in this simple format. It works. It's a hell of a concept, but it's not it's not one that wins against every situation and every band. I'll say that.
That's a good point. And I do want to reiterate as far as Bethune's drill. Like I thought their drill was good. It was executed. It was really pretty, like the step twos, like y'all say, and it rotated well. It all looked good. But like Rashad say, they ain't like punching. They ain't throwing no haymakers. You know what I mean? They're making real careful show. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're at the end of the point till at the end. You know they gonna have a difference, but they definitely they not coming for fam's head though. You know what I'm saying?
They want they want the TKO.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
They want the TKO. They don't want a knockout.
Right. Go for points. Shoot for points. Points. All right, y'all.
Good analogy.
So I think that's pretty good. Again, shout out to all the people in the chat room. You guys, from all the discussions we've had, you can go in the episode description under, from where we're talking, and you can go to the links of these shows and check them out yourself. And then shout out to all the guys. A lot of those HBCU videographers, those very guys are in the chat room. Smash Time is in there. Killa Kev, Lamik, and I said Smash Time. I think they all in there. But basically, other than the JSU bands and the Sounds of Dynamite Media, everybody who is responsible for what we're talking about is in the chat room. So y'all get an autograph or something. Y'all join in there and say something. Say something to the fellas.
You said Alcorn State's media team is in there?
No, they're not. The media, them and Jackson State's media team, they aren't in there.
I got some words.
I knew you would. I had some questions about that myself.
Yes.
Jackson State's media team, though? Bro, Jackson State's team is awesome. Alcorn State, what are y'all doing, man?
I was thinking that maybe that they had a video on the Jumbotron, and maybe there was some visual effects.
That would have been dope.
Yeah, so if you saw, I thought they were doing that, but and for the people we don't know, we tipping off a little bit of discussion. We'll get to it after the break, but yeah, the media team there at Sounds of Dynamite. So what's cool? I can pretty much say whatever I want about Alcorn because nobody from Alcorn watches this show and listens to the show, and so every time I say something, I have no blowback. So a couple years ago, somebody said something to Maurice. I don't know we were talking about, and they wrote an email. But yeah, I mean they know they're inferior, so let's give them a shout out. Give them a round of applause because Alcorn knows their place. So yeah, give them a shout out. All right, so let's go to a commercial break. We'll do that, and we'll come back and talk about the Soul Bowl. But right quick, the Battle of the Bands Florida Classic, who you think did better, Ernest? And the Battle of the Bands Friday?
The Battle of the Bands, I give that to Cookman.
And Rashad, what you think about the Battle of the Bands?
Cookman.
Okay.
It could go either way. Honestly.
Right.
Honestly, it can go either way.
Right. You can.
For me, it was Fam because they played Rolling Thunder, and then halftime. Ernest, what did you think? Who did you think it was?
I'm rolling with the 100.
You rolling with the 100? Rashad, you rolling with the 100 too?
1-0-0.
No way in hell, because they violated. Oh, wrong thing.
Next year Jackson is gonna sing against Southern on the field. You know that, right? That's gonna happen.
Hey,
we would
never. Come on now. Jackson is known for pulling out a microphone now.
We don't say nothing though. We'll never do that.
Y'all have done it.
I'm sure they might have, but they didn't do it on purpose. It's like they rolled up. And
they didn't do it on purpose. Wait, Ernest, what about that Honda? Was it about 3 or 4 years ago where they had like 5 gimmicks? They had a group out with the trumpet player. Then they had the dude on the roller skate.
Y'all getting off topic. We talking about singing. That's what singing. So yeah.
They sang too.
Nah, we would never do that. Please. if somebody does have the tape of that, don't send it. You know, just hold that. We're gonna try to delete it off the internet.
I'm gonna save that tape. I'm gonna save that for next week. I'm gonna post it in the chat room next week.
No, don't do that, man. It was probably some technical difficulty, or like they said we were gonna play, and then the artist showed up. Like it would be like some wires crossed, but we would never put that in our show. Never, ever.
Oh man! As a matter of fact, the year. Check this out. In '92, when FAMU did that End of the Road, y'all did a version where a dude was singing it. A little boys and men group. It was like 4 cats. Research it. It was 4 cats singing it from Jackson State in '92.
Was that Jackson or Southern?
Hopefully
you know what? That could have been Southern.
Hopefully it was Southern. I'm telling you.
I remember it was one of y'all.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, we got a trumpet section at Jackson State. They call us Trump Funk. So we never need anybody to sing. And I mean, I'm trying to think if we ever got crunk like in the band room at practice and we started like even like hollering. I mean, we were just so dope. We just played all night. You know what I'm saying?
See, now you gonna make me find a clip.
Man, that's horrible. I'm sorry. That singing stuff has got to go. And fam, how are you? Oh my God. In fact, you keep singing that whole Sudler trophy. That thing.
You gonna take the Sudler back?
I'm start taking points. Away from the prestigious of the award because y'all ain't won it in a long time. That's because y'all been picking up them choral values. That's what's going on.
Wow.
But yeah,
they're about to win the choral trophy.
Yeah, man. The Morehouse Glee Club is too. They the bomb too. You know what I'm saying? So y'all should holler at them if y'all want to do that. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and go to the next commercial break, and we'll go to the SWAC, and we talk about a really good matchup. I mean, this was a good matchup. I think years behind, but years in the making, but it was really good. Jackson State and Alcorn.
During the commercial break, if you guys want to entertain yourself, you can go ahead and go to the chat room and click on the video that I just posted and go to about 6 minutes. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Enjoy your SmokeeOs. Enjoy.
Hold on. I didn't see it. I don't see a link in the chat room, man.
Yeah, you don't see it. Okay. Yeah.
No, I don't see it. I have to go in there. But no, I don't see it, man. I'm going to have to look. Now, I will say real quick, and I guess I'll throw something out there since y'all want to make fun of the boom. We are known for, even though the sound was kicking, we are known for the twirler. You know, the dude twirler.
Oh, yeah.
And he was playing I'm Your Baby Tonight. And so, a lot of people make fun of us for that. But that song was cranking, though. Don't nobody talk about how the boom was cranking at I'm Your Baby Tonight. But that dude was talented. But that's as far as
he's a beast.
Yeah, that's as far as we'll go. All right, y'all, let's do the pay the bills, and we'll come back and talk about the Soul Bowl here. Y'all mute your microphones, and we'll be right back after commercial break.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Beard from the Marching Podcast. Is your school, club, or organization looking for high-quality decorated apparel to outfit your students, staff, club, or team? Tired of the same old boring white t-shirt? Are you in charge of the upcoming fundraiser or special event but don't really have time to troll the internet for ideas or compare products? SAY can help with design and product selection. We can even assist with ideas on conducting an effective fundraising program. SAY can help you save time and get your message heard. So call 1-800-975-3156. SAY Marketing and Promotions.
Give your brand a voice.
If you're thinking about buying or selling real estate in the Southern California area, please contact Kevin Peete of RE/MAX Patriots. He will meet and exceed all of your needs. You can contact Kevin at 951-858-5942. That's 951-858-5942. Or you can email Kevin at kpsaleshomes@sbcglobal.net. That's KP, his initials, Kevin Peete, KP Sales Homes, all one word,
at sbcglobal.net. Thanks again.
You want the best barbecue around? SmokeeOs coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. SmokeeOs know what's good for you. You want the best barbecue around? SmokeeOs coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. SmokeeOs know what's good for you. SmokeeOs, come check us out.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, Charlie, you can unmute your microphones. All right, we'll get back into it. And again, shout out to all the folks in the chat room. You know what I'm saying? They always have something funny to say up in there. We'll go ahead. I already looked at the clock, man. We just be rolling the show. Let's go ahead and knock out the Soul Bowl because I know it's getting late over there on the East Coast and on the Central Time. But the Soul Bowl, the beloved Soul Bowl with two Mississippi schools, Alcorn and Jackson State. And we always look forward to this because we always feel, I know a lot of people in the Boone feel like, you know, we peak at the Alcorn game. Like, that's supposed to be like our coup de grace. That's supposed to be our best performance. So, you know, they always are playing well, and whatever total amount in the band is what they end with. You know, say we had, 400 at band camp, but now this is what we have. So everything is really, the Alcorn game is a real, benchmark, if you will, on the season. And I thought that it went well. I don't know if you guys got to see the 0 or the 5th, but I got a chance to check out the 0. Ernest, did you see the 0 or the 5th?
I did not.
Okay. So I'll just say the 0, I thought it was pretty good. The thing that was cool, I guess, that let me go down here. Both bands are really, really good. We did a show earlier this year, and I said I'm finally giving Alcorn their props. They're the truth this year. I ain't gonna lie, Alcorn is good. So everything that I saw with the 5th and the 0 quarter was good. It was something that I could, like I say, I like to go back and just like go off and do something else, and I'm listening to two good bands at the same time, and that's what basically what happened. I will tell you the Reader's Digest version of what happened in the 5th. Really quick, as far as the 0 quarter is concerned, it was cool because I felt like the tuba break songs kind of worked. Like before a game, and they was like, hey, they were trying to get the crowd hype. They were going back and forth. They were playing a couple of tuba breaks there. But I felt like it worked pretty good. And then one thing that jumped out as far as the songs that were played, Jackson State played The Magic Stick with Lil Kim and 50 Cent, and I really enjoyed that. Like that was something that jumped out to me. But it was fierce. Like, it was intense. Like, if you watch that video, it was like, they were going back and forth, and both bands were giving each other, equal force. You know what I'm saying? So it was very, very enjoyable. As far as the 5th is concerned, Jackson State was just more powerful than Alcorn. So Alcorn wasn't able really to run with Jackson State, and it really didn't come down to the play calling because they both were playing, some good songs back and forth. But I will tell you guys that Alcorn immediately lost the competition because they sang. It was a common theme this weekend, guys.
In a 5th?
Oh, God. I thought about, what else could they do? So, of course, they played some gospel joint, and again, forgive me, I don't be knowing the name of these joints, but I know you be trying to tug at people's heartstrings, and then they were singing, it's just like, Alcorn, man.
So they double lost, right? They double lost the 5th.
Double lost, man. Like, and it was just like I don't even remember them doing that in the last couple of years, or just knowing Alcorn to be singing in the stands like that. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, Alcorn, what are you doing? take this medicine, take this behind whooping. Like, don't give it away to us like that. That was what I was thinking. You know what I'm saying? But that's what ended up happening. So it was just like, I don't even know if I need to go. But there was some reclamation points happening. This is the reclamation points. They came back and they had two really, really good songs toward the end. But the Boom ended it with the 25 or 6-4. Was it the Chicago song?
Oh
And
yeah.
man, that sounded just really good. Just the attacks and the articulation. You know what I'm saying? The Boone did a real good job with dynamics. Like they would go slow or they would go really quiet, like me at quiet, and then they'd open up and you know what I'm saying, get full. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that wasn't.
I heard it.
I mean, it was like me. It was like it was. I mean, it was quiet. You know, I think about A&T because A&T they get real quiet in songs because they want to show their musicality. Not that you know they're not as powerful as the Boo, but you know I'm saying they they did that. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it was not close as far as who won. Of course, we knew that Jackson State would win the fifth. I mean, I don't think you know unless it was play calling, but Alcorn was coming with it though. I guess that was the main thing from the fifth. Um, Jackson State played a Stay Fly. Y'all know the I gonna stay fly.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I brought this up a couple. Lane plays that too, and I actually like Lane's version better than Jackson State, even though Lane sang on that, like they sang on that song. I like their version better than Jackson State. Um, but that was pretty much it, man. The Boom, they were just so much powerful than Alcorn. You know what I'm saying? They just other than the play calling, which was really good, it was, I guess, if I could speak objectively about it, it was very even in the fifth until Alcorn sang, and then they ruined it for themselves. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, man, I think the Boom came out on top in both of them. Ernest, what do you think, man, about the halftime show with the Boom and the sounds of Dynamite?
All right, all right. I'm trying to make this quick. When the Boom came out, I noticed that they did the Tiger Run on a little, like they're basically on the field instead of in the end zone, and I didn't really feel that too much. I know they did it because they were kind of compensate for the drill. Cause, they were going to do a shorter first drill, but I didn't really like when they do the Tiger Run on the field. It kind of loses its impact. You're already on the field. Why are you running on the field? But the downfield was cool. It was different. They did something different because they did like the little box formations where they slanted them so the boxes were closed and open up again and spread open and then closed, which it was a nice drill but it wasn't executed well because some of the corners were kind of rounded of the boxes, and I just thought they could have executed better, and everybody wasn't marching, and maybe if everyone was marching the same, it would have been more effective. I didn't like that they played Get Ready on the downfield. That, to me, I thought this game was a little bigger than that. And this is the last game of the season. I think they should have used something else for the drill as opposed to that go-to. But I guess they're pandering to their audience. But I thought that it sounded good, of course, but they could have used another song there because I forgot the name of the song that Alcorn came out to, but they came out pumping. I mean, they were marching, they were crunk. I mean, those legs were up.
She's fresh.
Yes, she's fresh. She's so. Oh man, that was grooving, bro. That said swag to me. Grooving, big sound, horn swing, just getting it. That embodied the SWAT style to me, and they got it. They had those big slants Alcorn did going across the field, and then when they got center field, they opened up those slants to the drum roll, and then they were in these big chevrons. And when they hit that sound, man, oh my God, that was impressive.
Yeah, it was.
So, yeah, I was real impressed with Alcorn on the field. So drill-wise, I would give the drill to Alcorn. Now, the J-sets were better to me than the Golden Girls. I didn't like the formation, the little GG formation that Alcorn was in for the Golden Girls. You know, it was a novelty drill. You know, I guess something that they did. You know, I don't know if they do that all the time or not, but I think that was just something they did for this performance. I didn't like it. You know, it was just a little too spread out. The G's were too big, and they you know, it took me a while to figure out that they were actually G's. And then the media team, oh God, they had they had pictures up as the girls were dancing. They had pictures up that were flashing, like strobe light flashing. So it's like, this is so distracting, man. I don't know what to look at. So I'm like,
you're right, man. They had three videos of the girls dance from different
three different yes. So I'm like, come on, bro, that's too much. But I enjoyed the J-sets better, their performance on that. Then the dancer team, Alcorn did this long behind dance routine where they spell out ALCORN, and they had a drum major in front of every letter, and then each drum major got to do their own little dance, and then went to the next letter, and then to the next letter. I'm like, no, man, that killed it for me. And by the time they got past the third letter, the audience was already out of it. They were just like kind of just sitting there waiting for them to finish. But the Boom took the Boom had the better dancing team. If I had to give a winner for halftime overall, I would give it to, well, that's a hard decision, man. Both of these bands are really good, just like you said. They both play well. They both have that attack mentality, and they both have, you know, moments where they shine over the other. But I guess I have to give it to the Boom, man, for halftime overall. But Alcorn weren't no pushovers. They are a solid program, man, and they are a force to be reckoned with in the SWAC.
Yeah, I agree. Rashad, what do you think about the halftime show, man?
I don't know about the halftime, but I'm sure glad that Bridget's not on the show. I'm sitting there looking at this chat room, talking about the Golden Girls like they look like mothers, so they look like they get real bills. Glad she ain't on the show, boy. She shut all of y'all down, man. Let me go ahead. The show, man. This Alcorn State's media team, bro, stop it. I'm gonna make sure that I post up on their YouTube video. What's up with this? Why you don't have to use all these effects, man? You know the drum majors be they're doing all this hand. It's not necessary. That's why the drum majors are doing it, so we can see that with our own eyes. You know, adding stuff and then doing the thing in the middle with the GGs, and then the thing that pissed me off is the editing choices. Like they made Dynamite on the field, which I thought was pretty cool, but then something happened. But then the video switched to the close-up of the band.
Right.
Alcorn State's media team. You know what's happening when it happens. Why are you not showing us what we're supposed to see? They made Dynamite, and I don't have a clue what the Dynamite did. Same thing, they made Alcorn on the field. If you notice, they didn't have enough drum majors for the end, so they had another person from the band to come up to the front. What? And then now it's something about that person, and the crowd get hype about that person. They were doing something, and the camera had already focused in on the last person, but they didn't focus in on that person. I'm like, I don't know what they're doing. Why aren't you get it together? So anyway, about the show. First thing I noticed was drum major. It was drum majors. I know this is petty, but really looking at Southern's made me paying attention to this. That leg length, like the spats that you notice, like one drum major. Like I don't know if his pants were too short or his backs were too tall, but it really stood out. Bro. Like, bro, you need to get some tailoring.
Put your stats up, bro. Put your stats
up. So I've never paid attention to that. When I was in band, we didn't pay attention to that. But Southern has made me look at that across band now and notice that that's something that you should do to make sure that that look is there. Anyway, She's Fresh was cool. I liked how they had the majorette pop out like from the band.
Oh, yeah, I like that too. Yeah.
The only thing though was that it happened at the wrong time because the drum majors are already over here doing their thing, and then the majorettes over here. I'm like, well, which one? You guys are not coordinated with each other, so I didn't like that they were distracted from each other. Their routines should have been in sync somehow. I thought the formations overall were pretty good. Like Alcorn used to be one of those bands that used to make nets on the field. Their marching is not that great, but they look pretty good, man. Like their marching style looked good. Like when they faced home. And they just gave it to us. Like most of the band was like really driving and really giving it to us, man. There's a lot of energy in their marching. Their distance from each other looked good. Again, they made Dynamite on the field, but I don't know what happened. My main problem with Alcorn is they don't sound that good though. Like I think it's easy to miss that with the energy level that they have and the marching that they're doing. But if you really just close your eyes and listen to what's happening, particularly during that Dance Girl song, it really don't sound that good. And it was easy to tell that, particularly after listening to FAMU and Bethune Cookman, which I watched them first.
Right, me too.
Like, y'all don't sound that good. I kind of liked that they made Alcorn on the field and they had each one, dance. I thought that was different. I didn't get bored. I thought it was pretty cool. But again, I was just disappointed by how they edited the video. The sideline blowdown, that sounded horrible. It's just bad. Stop it. Work on, okay, you got your energy level up, now sound good. Jackson State, great camera work. My God, like their video camera, it was like professional level stuff and getting that views from all over the sides.
They were fading the black and fading the camera,
It's like I was playing a video game, like going to the change scenes, and the band will start talking or something.
Right.
And I actually liked the Tiger Run On like that. It was surprising to me, that it wasn't just a long thing. It was just like, boom, they're gone. And the crowd was hyped. Now It Feels Good. Okay. You cannot play "It Feels Good" by Tony without going, but don't. You can't play that without the bass line. What are y'all thinking over there? Like the tubas had this easy part. Like, no, y'all have 20 of them. It's okay for them to play eighth notes. It's okay. You have 20 of them. I was disappointed by that. And the band there's a time in there somewhere where the band kind of changed tempo a little bit and seemed like they had issue with that. Like it went into halftime and they were having trouble keeping their feet together. But overall, that drill was really cool. Like they did a lot of really interesting things. Like they just didn't think, here's our step 2. Like they condensed some things and opened it back up. But it was a really cool kaleidoscope. Jack, I know, Joe, that you said they won that show because that level of kaleidoscope was really interesting. It wasn't as tight as Alcorn State, but it was far more difficult than what Alcorn State did. They played Shame. I didn't say a whole lot about that. And I like how he said that Sounds of Dynamite is a side piece. And then they played.
They were going in on Alcorn at the end of their dance routine too.
Oh, did they?
Jackson State was. Yeah, they had the guys come out with the purple shirts on. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
They're kicking around the field and all that.
Okay. So that part, I wasn't feeling that part. Like I thought it was cool that they brought him out and they beat him down. But then the two people that they have dance, they didn't have anything to do with each other. It's like a girl and I guess he was a white dude. The girl was actually pretty good, but the white dude's like, what is he doing? Like. There should be a reason. Are they all big people? Are they all white people? Are they all drunk? Are they dance the same? You just, hey, you and you come out and dance. And to me, Jackson State had the opportunity to really nail this show, and they didn't. And it's because I feel like they kind of went after the crowd more so than they went after the other band. Like I feel like go after the other band and make your crowd feel like, dang, is that our band? I wish y'all were our band. But I feel like they were kind of like when they played Jeopardy and stuff, that was cool. But they could have done something. Like when they played Jeopardy, they could have made Jeopardy or made Alcorn State when they said, what band is copying everything and made Alcorn State on the field?
Right.
That would have been cool, but it kind of came off as like, crowd, y'all suck. And you don't want the crowd to be like, oh, we booing you because we're so upset. You want the crowd to be hyping you up because you embarrassed their band. Right. So I think the Jackson had the overall better show, but I think that their ending didn't nail it the way that it should have. With that the two people dancing and how they did the Jeopardy, it didn't finish right.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm not, and to be honest with you, I'm not even really a fan of when the students come out there and dance like that. Like when the people come out from the band and they're like big people, and then maybe they're dressed as, because they were dressed as Alcorn. The only difference was that it, from a color standpoint, they looked dark. Like they should have had more gold or something to maybe to make it look like that it was obvious that it was Alcorn from like the top of the stadium. But even at that close view, you can't really tell exactly it was Alcorn until you saw the purple. You know what I mean? Which was they were covered in that. And that's just a personal thing. I don't like when the students come out and dance. Like that's not my thing. It's gimmicky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't like seeing it. But other than that, I thought that both halftime shows was really good. And I said this about Alcorn earlier this year, that they're really good, and their drill was really good. I'm not gonna lie. They showed up for the drill, which is my thing. You know, I really like the drill. So Alcorn had a really, really good drill. Trying to think what else I had in there. Really, really precise. I also like them doing Alcorn. And I'll tell you why, because they were always doing, and this is in the 90s, they always went into formation ASU, and it would literally look just like the JSU. The only difference would be the A. Or it's like they did a reverse pinwheel. Instead of a J going down, they're like, all right, y'all stay up here and then just bring it down. You know what I'm saying? So they have always been Bizarro State. You know, Alcorn has always, for a long time, wanted to be like Jackson State. And it's mostly a lot of the people, when they graduate from Jackson State, they go to Alcorn there, you know, and they're directors. So it's always like that. And then I think the Boom said that at the end of their show, like, oh, y'all always trying to be like us. Y'all always, you know what I'm saying? But that's who they are. But I do like the Alcorn. I think I've seen that before, but it's at least establishing their own, like, originality. You know what I mean? I didn't like that they broke the dance down like letters like that, because it was really long, like Ernest said. But I like that they're establishing something that's their own, and that's definitely what they need, because they're a good band. But it's just like they look just like us. Some folks in the chat room was basically saying that, man, like they had JSU's uniforms on, and if you like look at Jackson or Alcorn, they look the same. It's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? So
You're right.
I mean, it's just too close.
No major styles, yeah.
No major style, you know what I'm saying? And it's better, and that's smart. Let's be honest. If you gonna copy somebody that's dope, like Jackson State. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, that's smart. You know what I'm saying? That's all. But yeah, I mean, I've always felt that always hurts them every year.
Right.
Whereas they're
copy somebody that's easy to copy.
Yeah, or copy somebody from another state.
For real.
I mean, Dad. I mean, cousins go to Jackson State and go to Alcorn, and y'all copying they stuff. Like, come on, man, copy fam or something. You know, that'll make y'all look more, you know, decent in the conference. But nah, man, Bizarro State, man, that's just how they roll. But they were really good. The drill was really good. I think, like you said, I gave a slight edge to Jackson State on the drill, but it wasn't that much. But both dance routines were good. I'm not sure about how they like come off the field. Alcorn kind of came off the field, kind of swaying. They came like getting ready for their sideline blowdown. I think that can look good, but it can also look bad. You know what I mean? Like I think it's a time and a place for that, and I didn't think that really worked out for them in that instance. But no, I think everything was pretty much standard. I thought the Boom just had a better performance. I think that's it is what it is. And then I already talked about the 0 and the 5th. I was pretty much saying there were a lot more songs with tuba breaks in the 0. And then I did make a note there. Whose tuba break sounded dope? Somebody had a tuba break, Ernest, and it sounded super, super dope. But they broke up the parts. Like I think I said, like when the tuba parts and they break up the parts and the unison chords or something like that. Them joints became. Yeah, I can't.
You can let me go back and check out the 0 quarter, man.
Yeah, man, the 0 quarter. I mean, they worked. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it was hype. It was pretty intense, and it was, it
I want to hear that myself because I want to figure out how you break up stuff in the unison chords.
Oh yeah. My bad. Them chords where all them playing and they all playing different notes. Yeah. But them joints is torn, and I wish I knew where that was. But the Boom plays something that had a dope tuba break, man. And I just don't have it, man. Then I'll find it as soon as we get off the air. But most of the songs, again, like I said before, I didn't know the song, like I didn't know the titles, so I was just like, man, this sounded good. But it was a good 5th. It's worth checking out. It was a really good 5th. All right, y'all. So I guess that comes to the end of what we had to talk about. Ernest, like I said, I know that you got something thankful for. Can you name something else you're thankful for? And do you have any parting shots before we close out the podcast? And wait, hold on. I gotta make sure I get the music going. I gotta make sure I had the music on time tonight, y'all. All right, Ernest. But man, do you have anything as far as the shout outs, anything? And one more thing that you're thankful for, man.
I'm thankful for the patrons to my website, blockusup.com. We have over 70,000 readers, and my Facebook page is blowing up, my Instagram. A lot of people are truly following the site and supporting what we're doing. And we got people reading again, man, which is crazy. People are reading the article. So I just want to say thank you. I see you guys. Every time I put out something new, man, you grab it, you read it. And, so you might make a comment on this site or that site. But I go back and I read all the comments. So I want you to know that I'm thankful for you and I appreciate it.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And I really like what you said about getting folks to start reading again, because that's important, man. It's a dying thing. If you
it is, man.
Read outside somebody's tweet. And he's like,
right.
I read it. He tweeted it. I read it, but you get it long in your education, brother.
Yeah, it is longer than 140 characters. They might skip it.
Right. Well, that's what's up, man. Happy Thanksgiving, Ernest. Rashad, the Regal Rashad. What's going on, Black Band? And one more thing you thankful for, man.
I just want to point out I'm definitely thankful for my parents and everything they do for me. I shouted out my future family, but I didn't shout out the one that I have right now. So I just want to make sure that I give them some credit. And please make sure that you check out Color Commentary. We just did a tribute to a great man who has recently lost his life, Stan Lee. You listen to our show and you'll find out about Stan Lee. If you're not a comic book person or not a Marvel movie person, you may not know a whole lot about Stan Lee and why people are so excited about him. Just listen to our show as we do a tribute to him at the end, and you can kind of get a better understanding of actually how he kind of fought for equality a little bit with Black Panther, who was his creation, who was the first Black superhero in mainstream comics, and how he used the X-Men in order to kind of represent what was happening with civil rights, and then just the fight that he did with his dream and staying true to that dream all his life. He didn't create Spider-Man until he was 39 years old. So, this guy stayed true to his dream all his whole life, and he died a multimillionaire, but he had to fight the entire way. So check that out. We also reviewed the movie Widows with Viola Davis, as well as Crimes of Grindelwald. And yes, Christy Walker and I.
Oh, man, I got to check that out. My wife and I, we are serious Harry Potter fans and the whole Fantastic Beasts and all that whole series, man. So we got to check that out.
Well, please watch the movie. We'll watch the movie and check out our review and see if we're wrong. If you're a big fan, you probably think I'm wrong.
We'll see.
But that's it, man. Go back to you, Joe.
That's what's up, man. Real quick in the chat room, I think Unstoppable 25, he was saying, you guys can actually see it on the screen now, talking about after Griffith passed, they started to lose their identity. Griffith actually marched in the band with my dad. Griffith is from the Boom. So he marched with my dad, and then, of course, became the director there at Alcorn. But yeah, so they are losing some of their identity, but that tried and true, it was from the Boom. You know what I'm saying? But even still, I am thankful for the two of you, thankful for everyone that listens and watches, thankful for the chat room, thankful for the craft, thankful for HBCUs, thankful for my family, and really appreciate us trying to do some things here. We didn't have our National Signing Day this year because of all the change in the format or whatever, but we're still going to do that on these slow weeks here in the college football season. So like now it's the Bayou, but then there's always like a lull, and then there was usually like the Honda coming up. So we don't have those things, so we'll be doing National Signing Day this fall with Angela Dandridge. All right, so you'll hear more about her and where she went to school and her experiences this year, and then we'll be chopping it up too right after the season. We'll start talking to the show style guys and some of the other directors that we got waiting. So again, keep your ear to the network. Appreciate you guys listening, and I'm thankful for all of you. All right, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and close out the podcast. If you're interested in becoming a patron or a sponsor to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show and we'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. Like you see the little crawl at the bottom and the commercials, and always we're posting stuff on Facebook and on Twitter, and even on our blog we tag the actual sponsors and all of those things as well, so they're getting that extra pub. So we'll help you build your business. Just hit us up. All right, thanks again for listening. This is the end of the show. Check out the website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening, and remember, the lectures you deliver may be very fine and true, but I'd rather get my lesson in observing what you do. See you next time.
And that's it for the 90 Degree Show for this week. Tune in next week with Joe Beard, where the marching band battles continue.